Bring in, as promised, Academy Award-winning documentary filmmaker Michael Moore. Michael, good evening.
Good evening, Keith.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is Rachel Maddow. Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening, Keith.
There's been a spike in the desire to own guns in Connecticut. Statewide, over 90,000 guns have been authorized for sale. You know how I feel about it.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, some 38 minutes ago. Vice President Lyndon Johnson has left the hospital in Dallas, but we do not know to where he has proceeded. Presumably, he will be taking the oath of office shortly and become the...
Good evening, my fellow patriots, my fellow Americans. It is Friday, November 22nd. That was Walter Cronkite recanting a painful part of our American history. President John F. Kennedy assassinated on this day 50 years ago. Some would say that that is the turning point, the preface for all that is here today. That is when the country lost its innocence. Americans finally realizing that there is evil within our government. Now, I know that there's been a lot of arguments, a lot of discussions about conspiracy theories and this and that. But the evidence is overwhelming. And in light of current events, one can only question any news that comes out of Washington, D.C. We're finding that our politicians, our elected officials have no problem lying to the American people. They have no problem using their police forces to oppress and suppress the truth. Even on this day of remembrance, in Dallas, there are reports coming out where peaceful protests were attacked and harassed by police. As we stated yesterday, we are in a ready state mode here at the Midnight Patriot. I think the nuclear option that was placed before us, this country, by the Senate, by them changing the rules, basically in effect giving a one-party system of government. Now, I think the writing is on the wall. I think that it is clear that we must abandon Washington, D.C. and do whatever it takes to take care of ourselves as individuals, then as communities. But you're listening to the Midnight Patriot radio show. When we get back from the break, we're going to be talking about economic events. We're going to give you the latest warnings on some nuclear events. Of course, we'll be talking about the news and taking your calls. Join us on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com. Lines are open. You can call in at 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. And like always, you can reach us on Skype at The Midnight Patriot is our Skype line.
to save us from ourselves and our own self-destruction. God only knows we need help. Looking for a hero, someone who cares about the future, not about themselves, but about the idea of America. We need a hero, someone who shows the way. We need a hero who speaks for the people and what we have to say. We still believe this land of the free is still America. We still believe in the land of the free, and we need a miracle. You know this freedom is anything but free. What we have here depends on those who will fight for what they believe. When we stand together, there's nothing that we can't achieve. This nation of people standing as one in the name of liberty. We need a hero, someone to show us the way. We need a hero who speaks for the people and what we have to say. We still believe this land of the free is still America. We still believe in the land of the free, and we need a miracle. We need a miracle. We need a miracle. We need a hero, someone to show us the way. We need a hero who speaks for the people and what we have to say. We need a hero today. We need a hero,
You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us here every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. What a day. I sat and watched C-SPAN today, watching the memorials, watching the corporate takeover of a national tragedy. There were reports in Dallas. I know on the Alex Jones show they were talking about how the individuals that were selected by lottery actually paid to be part of the memorial service, the People's Memorial Service for our people's president. Just unbelievable. And then, of course, there were reports coming out of Dallas all day where peaceful protests, those individuals like most Americans who want the truth behind the actual killing of our beloved President John F. Kennedy. were forcefully removed, pushed back, and at times provoked by law enforcement under the behest of the Homeland Security. Homeland Security, it's got such a ring to it if you study Nazi Germany, correct? Homeland Security. It's unbelievable. The farce, the lies. You know, remember the day when Homeland Security was put here supposedly to protect us from foreign terrorists, foreign nationals who wanted to do us harm. But more and more every day you see that their directives, their measures are actually against us, the American people, the American citizens. Give me one terrorist that Homeland Security has arrested. Just one. That's all I want. Just one. One name. Foreign terrorist. Because I can give you a list of American citizens that have been arrested by Homeland Security. And I can give you the shocking part about that list is most of them would be classified as dissidents with other governments, by other government. So people are being arrested, rounded up, detained, swabbed, DNA tested by this all-loving and caring government. Under the guise of our protection. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So what we're going to be doing, since we're in a ready state here at the Midnight Patriot, we're going to start giving you a little bit more information that you can use. We're going to be adding some things to our website over the weekend, a news feed component, so you'll be able to see what we're going to be talking about prior to the broadcast. We're also going to be putting up an events page, so if you are an event coordinator for a Patriot event and such, we will link to your page. We are also working on what we call our tyranny map. Hopefully we'll get that up running this weekend, and basically it will be a graphical representation on a daily basis of all of the acts of terror or tyranny that this government's doing against its citizens, its people. So you'll be able to see that on a map on a daily basis, and then also be able to actually see their actions. So we have that going. Just a lot of things going in this weekend to make our news gathering and getting the information out to you a little bit more. A segment that we're actually going to start right off the bat with is that we're going to start. We started doing this when we first started doing the show, and we kind of backed off of it to give ourselves some more time. But it's important that people see this and hear this information. But it's a jobs report, a daily jobs report. So with that, for November 22nd, this is the layoffs that were reported, mass layoffs. Simplot in Caldwell, 262 persons laid off. The Mayo Clinic Health Systems, 82 persons. L3 Keo, Northampton, 19 persons. Pixar Animation Studios in California, 60 persons. Cablevision Systems, 400 persons. General Atomic Aeronautic System, layoffs are coming. Qualcomm, layoffs are coming. Avia Investors International, 120 persons. Hanford Nuclear Contractors, 450 persons. I don't mean to laugh there, but of all the places that we need to be laying off, I don't think a nuclear facility or a manufacturer needs to be one. I'm sorry. Kind of concerning there. Ruby Tuesday, 50 persons. First data court, 550 persons being laid off. These are high-tech jobs. Most of them, if you notice, they're mainly high-tech jobs. Now, there's a huge correlation between high-tech jobs and the amnesty bills that Zuckerberg and all those and Bill Gates are trying to force. You guys need to be aware. These guys aren't doing it because they're compassionate or because they care about their fellow man. They don't. What they're doing it for is because it's cheap labor. Technology is still one of those jobs or one of those positions in here in the United States that you can actually make a livable wage at without having to be a profession like a lawyer or a doctor. But these corporations, Zuckerberg and those guys, are trying their hardest to suppress that as well. You know, there's reports that Mark Zuckerberg right now is actually paying illegal aliens or immigrants to develop websites to promote amnesty for immigrants. Yeah. So, you know, corporations want the immigration bill to pass because they get cheap labor. Let's just face it. That's the truth. They have no compassion about people. You know, for them, it's bottom line. The Democrats, the liberals, want amnesty because that's cheap votes. That's more people that they can put on the dose. And now that they have a one-party system in place, that pretty much cements their rule. You are seeing, America, a systematic takeover of our country by the liberals. You're seeing it. You're watching the fall of the last great democracy. And don't, expect anybody overseas to help us or to understand. They've been waiting for this for a long time. Some of them are behind it. The game plan here, America, is that they're going to make it so painful for us to live that we will cry out for anything that they have to offer that looks remotely like help. They've destroyed our middle class. They systematically eroded our families. They have attacked our religious organizations, and they are indoctrinating our children. Wake up, America. Wake up. This broadcast is there to help you get the word out. If you have a friend who's on the fence, you need to direct them to the Midnight Patriot radio show and podcast. The news that we give here is fully documented. We're going back to our news server, so you'll be able to see that. We've got the new server. The vast amounts of data that we gather on a daily basis, our old server just couldn't handle it. That's why we got away from it. But we've upgraded our servers. So this weekend, you'll actually be able to see all of our sources. It's important that you see our sources so you know that we're reporting news that is current, relevant, and real. But that's just the layoffs. Closings for November 22nd. General Electric Company in Fort Edward, New York. Persian and Persian Jewelry Store in Antioch. Weymouth Auto Mall in Massachusetts. The Scoto Juvenile Correctional Facility on Home Road in Delaware. Grubhub, Seamless is closing its office in Salt Lake City. Berry Plastics is closing its Kent plant. Little Monkey Business in Western Springs, Illinois, and Toy Village in Lansing, Michigan are closing today. On the economic news for today, TGI Friday owner considers selling of the chain. Cable stock surge over takeover chatter. Healthcare enrollment for 2015 has been delayed. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And there's new toll roads that are coming out that will get you for every mile that you travel. Unbelievable. Yep. So now they're talking about charging you by the mile on toll roads. That was reported in CNBC today. Now, I'm going to report the official government numbers, and then we will follow that up with the real government numbers so you can understand the manipulations that are going on in our market and in the reporting. So unemployment rate was reported at 7.3%. October non-farm payroll was at 204,000. Mortgage rates, 30-year was 4.16, 15-year was 3.24. Manufacturing index for June was 50.09. Consumer confidence index for July was 80.3. GDP in quarter one was 1.8%, and then that was last updated the 8th of November. Now, Prepper Recon, we were talking in last night's show, actually turned us on to a great site, John Williams, Shadow Government Statistics. Now, we are going to be enrolling in that so we can give you even more in-depth information. But John actually uses the real calculations, the ones that were not changed in the 80s, to manipulate the markets, to make us feel that things were better than what they actually were. Now, the first number obviously is unemployment. John's actually reporting that unemployment's close to 24%. I've heard most economists agree with that, saying that if you take the underemployed, the people that have actually moved out of the workforce because they can't find jobs, or the people that just don't even want to look for jobs anymore, who've just given up, 24%. But the best judge of unemployment is your neighbors. Take your core group of friends and find out how many are unemployed, how many are not working at the professions that they trained for, that they've done all their lives. I did that study today, and I have to agree with this 24% number. 24% roughly is out of 10 people, 3 people. So list your 10 people, and there's probably 3 that are underemployed or not working at all. The other number is GDP. Our gross domestic, they're saying, is just under 2%. But if you use the real numbers, the numbers that weren't manipulated, it's actually a negative 2%. This economy is slowly slipping into the abyss. And this administration is refusing to take action. Instead of lowering taxes, they are burdening the American people with more taxes. That just goes to show you how out of touch this current administration is with the American people and our needs. You know, as they take their multi-million-dollar vacations, play their rounds of golf, we as the American taxpayer are on the hook. We, the American taxpayer, are feeling the pain. We, the American taxpayer, is getting shafted, to be kind. In our reports a little bit later, we're going to be talking about some political junkets that were taken down in the Virgin Islands on our money as we struggle, as we try to put food on our tables, as we try to figure out what we're going to do to celebrate the holidays with our families, pay our medical bills, keep our lights on, all of those things. Our politicians are flying around in their jets, going on vacations, spending millions of dollars. I'm sorry if we're painting a pretty depressing picture here, but it's time that we as America wake up, that we understand that we're in a fight, we're in a battle for this great and sovereign nation. We need to take back our country. When we get back, we have some radiation reports that we're going to get out to you guys. We're going to follow up with some of the news, some of the articles for the night. We'll just kind of see what where this night takes us here at the Midnight Patriot. You can give us a call at 1-800-580-4870 if you'd like to join in the conversation. The lines are open, or, of course, you can Skype us at themidnightpatriot.com. Join us on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com.
Well, they say that the country's done. They say that the stock market's gonna crash. They say that every single one of us is gonna let down while they walk across our back. But I'ma stand up. I'm gonna put my fists in the air. No, I don't wanna have to bring my guns, but I'll be ready if it goes there. But you can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Get what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country and you right now. But I don't wanna. So let's stand up, put our fists in the air. No, we don't wanna have to bring our guns, but we'll be ready if it goes there. 'Cause we're the epitome of what's left of the USA. We're hardworking, honest, and we make our money the good old-fashioned way. But you can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Forget what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country and you right now. But I don't wanna. No, I don't wanna. Well, they say that the country's fine with a little hard work and prayer. We can get her back on her feet, 'cause I believe she belongs there. So let's stand her up and brush off the dirt and dust. A Lady Liberty needs our help from every single one of us. But you can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that tyranny is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Get what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country and you right now. But I don't wanna.
out of control spending, a government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com.
America, welcome home the brave. The brave men and women who serve their country are coming home. Home to their cities and towns. Home to their mountains and valleys. Home to their families and friends. Home to America. Some of these warriors are coming home with wounds you can see, and some with wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Wounded Warrior Project was created to provide the support these wounded veterans need to ensure their return to America is well-adjusted and successful. But we need your help to ensure that our mission is a success. Help us honor and empower these wounded warriors. Contact us at findwwp.org. America, welcome home the brave.
You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I am your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us on the web every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time for our live show. Or, of course, you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, help get the word out, help promote what we're doing here. This is a service for all patriots. Hopefully we are becoming your voice out there. Our shows are going to be changing slightly in the next couple of days. We're going to be focusing more on tips and tricks and different things of that nature to kind of get you prepared for the for the long haul, our fellow patriots. If you want to join in the conversation, our lines are open. It's 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. Or, of course, you can Skype us. Our Skype name is The Midnight Patriot. Tonight's show is brought to you by Mountain View Off-Grid Living. Go to mountainviewOffGridLiving.com for all of your prepping needs and supplies. They got some excellent prices. I was actually comparing them today with my old source where I used to get my prepping supplies, and they're comparable. And in some cases, they're cheaper. Less expensive, I should say. So I highly recommend that you go out there. I know that the first of the year we'll be putting our order in, our annual order that we do every year here at the Norton House. What better way to spend the money that the government steals from you and is so kindly to give you a percentage of it back? Only if you beg to them to get it back. I ain't bashful. I'll beg, get my money back. And then I turn around and use it to buy prepping supplies, ammunition, firearms. I can't think of a better way of celebrating some redemption from our criminal tax codes. So go to mountainviewoffgridliving.com. Give Sue a call. Very knowledgeable. I wish I would have known Sue a couple years ago when I started to buy some supplies. She'll even tell you, in the 30 years of her prepping, she has pretty much made every mistake possible. She might be able to save you some money. There's a lot of kits out there. Just kind of give you guys a heads up. There's a lot of kits that you can buy, or prepackaged kits, a year supply, 6 months, or whatever it is. You got to be careful, because a lot of those kits will actually have high calorie, low nutrition drinks in them. Now, of course, a lot of preppers will tell you that you need the caloric intake. You need the high calories. But you also need to have the nutrition. And so give Sue a call at mountainviewoffgridliving.com. And she'll lead you right. She'll lead you right. Talk about prepping and stuff. This is a new feature that we're doing. Service to you guys, kind of give you an alert. And it's amazing. I didn't even know this was up there. I stumbled across it. But there's a website called netc.com. That's netc.com. November, Echo, Tango, Charlie.com. And what they do is they list all of the radiological events throughout the world. They gather that information, they plot it on a Google map for you so you can see. And it's amazing. It has opened up my eyes. Because right now, currently, we have a RadCon 4 event in Cleveland, Ohio, Lexington, Fayette, Kentucky, Shreveport, Louisiana, San Antonio, Texas, and Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, what that means is that basically these sensors, these radiological sensors, are picking up elevated amounts of radiation. And a RadCon 4 is there's a concern or a watch. A RadCon 3 is elevated, RadCon 2 is rising, and then RadCon 1 is normal. You need to go out to this website and just kind of watch it. You'll see it change from day to day. You can almost see the radiation as it billows over the continent. And talking about, Fukushima. We're finding out that in the Unit 4 fuel, there are cracks. And they're actually calling it, TEPCO is actually calling it hopeless. That was reported today. TEPCO president has said, be prepared for the worst. Fukushima is a warning to the world. As we also reported, that Fukushima fuel is 12 inches from entering ground after eating through concrete. If that happens, God help us. God help us. Because at that point it goes into the water tables. Super steam is created. There will be an explosion unlike any non-nuclear, well, it will be nuclear, but non-nuclear fissionable explosion because of the steam. They're estimating over 300 million gallons of radioactive water would instantly be put into the atmosphere, and that would be ongoing. It would basically be a nuclear volcano spilling its radiation into the atmosphere. We're already seeing about 28% of the polar bears are starting to show signs of nuclear radiation poisoning. Loss of hair, lesions. But of course you don't see that on mainstream media. But it is happening. You can't deny it. It's time to prepare. It's time to be ready. Have a plan. Execute that plan. Now getting to the news of the day. Obviously, we are mourning the loss of our president, John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated on this day 50 years ago. And now most of Americans believe that there was a conspiracy. Most Americans. But as the media-controlled ceremonies were continuing. The real story is the protesters, the individuals who gathered in Dallas to find the truth, that were excluded from the people's ceremony or the media's ceremony, because that's what it was. It was a media's ceremony, not the people's. But as these American citizens were executing their constitutional right, their First Amendment right to assemble and have freedom of speech, Homeland Security with their goons directed the Dallas Sheriff's Department to harass, to attack, to instigate violence against peaceful protesters. We have the video. We saw it. There are reports in which known reporters in the alternative media were attacked physically, assaulted, punched. There are reports of children who are with their families or their parents being attacked, hurt, intimidated, scared. Now the saving grace is that the citizens joined up, and the police had no other choice but to back down. They had no other choice but to back down. And that's what it's going to take. That's why it's important that whatever action you take with groups, hundreds of individuals. Because the police, as hard as they try, can't intimidate a large mass of patriotic Americans. They will cave like the cowards that they are. So that was what was going on in Dallas. Now, we have other news. We have some Common Core news that, that we started to talk about. We just need to give you guys, our fellow patriots, kind of the lay of the land so you understand, so you have the knowledge to pick your fights and everything. But we actually had another patriot, and I want to share this with you. This is our ongoing conversations that we've had, but we have a well-known radio show host who finally said in Detroit that he's just not going to take it anymore. So we want to share that with you.
We must teach our children that freedom is not inherited, but must be diligently defended against tyranny. On my show, I've had guests like David Capellian, Patrice Lewis, Dr. Jerome Corsi, and Dale Robertson, who some of you might have heard of. I am not concerned with political madness. Political correctness. Moral relativism, multiculturalism. Understanding the truth in a matter is a priority for me. Recognizing the fallen nature of man and accepting the fact that without repentance as individuals and collectively as a nation, we will continue to be plagued by unscrupulous and evil men and women who will financially enslave us. Last year's rally inspired me to write this essay I'm about to share with you. It came from my perspective as a person of color, and it's called A Black Man That Is Pissed Off. Now, actually, this was done the day after. It was done on April 16th, after I had enjoyed the privilege of standing shoulder to shoulder with so many of you and so many of us that I got to experience a peaceful unification of ideas and principles. And it was just a pleasure to be a part of. And I was all excited and knowing that I was sharing in my renewed sense of duty to my country, even as I had been a veteran aboard an SSBN missile submarine called the Woodrow Wilson of all submarines, the most progressive, or one of the most progressive presidents we ever had. But I am a veteran also, and I have great love for those who are currently serving as well as those who have served our country and those who support us. Again, a black man that is pissed off. I sincerely hope that title got your attention, fellow patriots. It is almost 11 p.m. and I just finished watching Janine Mental Midget Garofalo being interviewed by Keith, I wish Obama was my daddy, Oberman. I never watched MSNBC, and now I know why. She just called all my white brothers and sisters that stood with me in Lansing, Michigan, Klan members. I am not joking. If I could have, I would have ripped her head from her shoulders. One out of many good things that came from our protests is that curious, independent, it unmasked the true nature of our nation's mainstream media. If there are any curious independents out there, I hope you have paid attention to the malicious, biased reporting of our propaganda press. It is extremely disturbing that just because I chose to exercise my constitutional right to assemble peacefully and protest, I may now be on a terrorist watch list. This madness is why I stood side by side with many of you yesterday. It isn't bad enough that I'm probably on a DHS hit list. That doesn't bother me. I served aboard a ballistic missile submarine in my younger days, so dying for my countrymen doesn't faze me. What does piss me off is being called a potential terrorist when Abdul and Muhammad are running around in cells planning to blow up our country. What bothers me is the illegal aliens coming into our country and either contributing greatly to a crime wave or sucking up free, they aren't free, we pay for them, benefits and nothing being done about it. I'm pissed that so many of my minority brothers and sisters choose to follow the likes of Louis Farrakhan, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, instead of people like Thomas Sowell, Michael Massey, and those conservatives that speak of true values in this country. I'm pissed that so many of my black and Hispanic brothers and sisters are so apathetic or ignorant to the facts, choosing instead to drift in a bliss of a false messiah who isn't even eligible to hold the office he has usurped. I am not a coward, as our Attorney General called us Americans, because we don't constantly dwell on race divisions and engage in arguments that have no end. I am not arrogant, as I hesitate to say, president refers to us. While we cheerfully give to charities and respond unlike any other societies when other countries suffer natural disasters. Yes, we have problems between the races at times, but as yesterday's event showed, our battles aren't between races. It is between ideologies, conservatives versus leftards. We are a peaceful people, unlike our foes who use slander, insults, libel, violence, and any other method they can to devise to tear down our country instead of building it up. In conclusion, I would like to say that I haven't met any Klansmen or women that I am aware of since I joined this movement. It has been my privilege to meet well-meaning Americans who love this country like I do. Please don't let the energy of today dissipate. Let it spur us to do greater exploits that our founding fathers would be proud of. Carry on in Jesus' name. I love you all.
There you go. That was a well-known Detroit DJ, talk radio host. You can get him at Reality Rivals. That was Chris Levels. Google him, as he wrote The Pissed Off Black Man. You know, it's amazing how this administration, this government, would want to slander us. And I go back to this point because Breitbart actually opened my eyes to it. And I want to remind you, there was a time, remember when President Barack Obama just got elected? And there were rallies, anti-Obama rallies already. And there, in the mainstream media, put up the pictures, the images of the gentleman, I think it was in New Jersey, who had a AR-15 slung over his shoulder. They showed the picture, right? And they call him racist and everything. But one thing that the media failed to do is show you who the individual was. And I would classify him as a pissed off black man. Yes, he was black. Now, they failed to show you that. You can go out there and Google it. You can actually see it firsthand. All they showed is this man's back with an AR slung over him. They call him a racist. They call him because he hates the president of the United States because he's black. But what they failed to do is show you his face. And if they did that, then that would diminish their argument altogether, because the gentleman was a pissed off black man. The media manipulation in this country is just out of control. The things that this government is failing through its media, its corporate controlled media, to report is out of control. But that's why we work so hard to bring you the truth. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot radio show and podcast. I'm your host. You can join us live every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. Unlike our mainstream media, when we quote a source, we will list it on our website. Go to our website at www.themidnightpatriot.com. We will actually have our news servers up and running over the weekend. Starting Monday, you will see every source that we use during our show. And that way you'll be able to make up your own mind, your own educated guess as to the truthfulness of what we report. Like I said, you don't have to make this stuff up. We don't. We don't have to fabricate anything. We don't have to put, fear into you. This government and this administration does that very well on its own. We just want to report to you the facts so you have the inside track here at the Midnight Patriot radio show and podcast. After the break, we'll be talking about some more news, maybe take your calls, but you're listening to the Midnight Patriot radio show and podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. Out of control spending, a government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com.
Get the rocket train. Bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, traitors that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land under the brave. You're the home of the brave.
Majority leader.
Yes, we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in the name of the brave. We are the U.S. of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's your future to save. Stand of the brave, the U.S. of A. Oh, traitors that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land under the brave. In the
You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com. That is www.themidnightpatriot.com. Tonight's show is brought to you by Mountain View Off-Grid Living. Go to mountainviewoffgridliving.com for all of your prepping and off-the-grid supplies. Give Sue a call. Wow. What a week. We had a really, really good week this week. A lot of great information with Prepper Recon and some of our other callers. It's an outstanding week. Now we are, like I said, we are evolving. We're changing. We're listening to your feedback on Facebook and Twitter, reading your emails. So we are going to be making some changes over the weekend. Nothing major, just giving you more information, more resources that you can use. Obviously, we started some of them tonight. We're going to start talking about economics at the beginning of the show, kind of give you the economic lowdown. We're also going to be talking about threats that you need to be aware of, nuclear, because of Fukushima, and also our power plants for that matter. We are building a tyranny map that we'll be talking about. So as acts of tyranny happen throughout the United States on a daily basis, you'll be able to actually go and click to those towns, read those articles. So a lot of things changing, a lot of information. We are also going to be adding an events piece too as well. So if you are an event coordinator and you are having an event for the Patriot movement or whatever, and you want to get the word out, give us a call. You can give us a call during the non-show times at 1-800-580-4870. On the voicemail system, all you have to do is leave the name of your event, the time, the date, the cost, the location if there is a cost, a brief description, and your contact information. for the event, and then also your private contact information so I can reach out to you and get more details if need be. You're also more than welcome to call in during the show or Skype in and tell our audience about your event. It's all about getting the word out. It's all about getting the word out. You know, as we reported yesterday, it just looks like it's just never enough for this administration. It's just never enough. So as you all know, the Senate decided to employ the nuclear option, in effect giving them complete control of the Senate. Now, the saving grace is that, and of course they're going to whine, but the saving grace is that when the GOP takes back the Senate, you know, we'll use it. We'll use it to unravel everything that they've done. But it's just not something that they should have done. But it goes to show you their despotism, the lengths at which they will go to push their communist socialist agenda upon the people of the Americas. The lengths that they will go, and basically it's white collar crime, because what the left is all about is taking money that you earned because you chose to get up and go to work. You chose to participate in America. So what do? Like a thief? Not even in the night. They do it in broad daylight. They pass laws, regulations, appoint their czars to oversee your industry, and they steal the money from your paycheck at the barrel of a gun. Because if you don't pay it, that's what you'll see. You have federal marshals knocking on your door with a gun. And then they'll put you in prison. They'll take away your rights, your freedoms, your constitutional rights. All because they have power. All because they have control. See, a lot of Americans take the approach, well, it'll never happen to me. Yeah, it will happen to you. It's happening to you right now. Most patriots already know this. That's why we're up at arms against it. It's only a matter of time. They can only feed, like all Ponzi schemes, they can only feed the scheme for a matter of time. That's why they keep pumping money into the economy, because as the economy, almost all Ponzi schemes get discovered once the economy turns south. And that's why they keep on pumping money into the economy, to keep the scheme running. That's why the Fed does what it does, because the minute they stop their quantitative easing, the true devastation of this economy will come to light. That's why they do it. But they're criminals, because they steal from those that have and they give to those that have not. They don't even give you the option. They take it from you. Now, if that's not enough, you have Senator Harkin, who's now requesting even more changes to the Senate procedures. Even more. They want more. They want to firm up the one party, one ruler system. It never ends with this. I once had a really good friend who was a professional athlete. He was an agent. And he talked. He talked about, Michael Jordan wanting to be like Tiger Woods. Because the $100 million a year just wasn't enough. He wanted $200 million, or he wanted to be worth $1 billion. And it's like that with these politicians. They always want more. But, like all parasites, there's a point in which they feed off the host where they actually start killing the host. And that's what they're doing to us now. And they know it. They know it. The banks are getting ready. There was a report that the banks are actually have contingency plans. The banks are actually talking about possibly stepping in and doing some of the roles of the government to make sure that society doesn't collapse, i.e. that their banks are still safe. They have plans and contingency plans about paying for public service, such as police and fire. These are the banks. How gracious of them. No, it's all about them protecting their assets while they disinvest in America. You have legislation right now going in place about limiting runs on banks. So you know it's coming. They know it's coming. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. This administration is at its end. This government is at its end. Look at what they're doing. Look at the constant erosion of Christian values. And the reason why they're eroding our Christian values is because they want us to turn to them in time of despair so they can solidify their control over us. That's why they don't want us to turn to God. Because when we have God, we have hope outside of the government. We have hope, we have meaning, we have laws outside of the master government. That's why they're eroding it. That's why they're chipping away at our family values. Because problem, cause, solution. And what I mean by that is whenever there's a problem, they're usually the cause, and then they come in with the solution. And the solution always means less freedoms for you and I. The solutions always mean more control by the government. That's what they want. They want to control us. And then once they control us, then not only do they control what we do, what we say, where we go, they control our health care. They do decide ultimately if grandma lives or dies, if that treatment is worth it, if you're not a contributor, will you get that $1 million treatment? I promise you the politicians will. I promise you the rich bankers will. The industrialists will. The ones that contribute to the campaigns will. We're already hearing reports of hospitals no longer participating in the general care. They are only taking in the wealthy. They are refusing any Obamacare patients. It's already coming out. We're already hearing it now. So, we talk about the attack on Christians in this country. We talked about it yesterday. The United States Postal Service. I used to kind of do business with the Postal Service because I kind of wanted to support them. I did. Not anymore. I don't care if they go out of business. I really don't. And unfortunately, all of those Americans are going to be without jobs. And that's sad. And I say, I do feel for them. But I cannot stand, and I will not tolerate, nor should you, the attack that the United States Postal Service has done on the American people. Don't buy their freaking stamps. Have all their stamps sitting, refuse to buy postal stamps. Get metered mail. Let them know. Let the Muslims buy their freaking stamps. And for those that don't know, and you're hearing about this the first time, the United States Postal Service issued their holiday stamps for this year. They have 3 stamps. First stamp is a menorah wishing everybody a happy Hanukkah. Menorah is a religious symbol. Then they have the symbol for Kwanzaa, and they're wishing everybody a happy Kwanzaa. And they actually say that, Kwanzaa. They completely exclude Christianity from their stamps. Now, a lot of people argue a gingerbread house. They have a gingerbread house, and that's Christian. Well, you know what? That's not Christianity. They can have a big pile of donkey dung. Sorry. For all I care. Because that's a gingerbread house is not Christianity. Not at all. But that's what they did. They have a gingerbread house. They don't even say Happy Merry Christmas. Not at all. It is so blatant, the attack on the American people, that it's not funny. I mean, it's blatant. It's out there in the open. This president who claims to be a Christian ought to be ashamed of himself. And I say unto you, churches, I know that you're under the 501c3 clauses, so you can't be political. I say to you, if you're truly aligned with Jesus Christ and God, He'll provide for you. He'll make sure that your church flourishes. He will make sure that you grow your membership. I say, forget about your tax status and start preaching the gospel and start preaching against this government, this administration. For those that don't know, the reason why churches don't talk about the corruption and the evilness of the government is because they will lose their tax status. That's what the government uses to hold over them. That's why they can't get up there and they can't endorse a politician, even though a politician's for abortion or against abortion. They can't endorse them because they will lose their tax status. I say, be damned with them all. If you're righteous and you are a good church and you are teaching the word of Jesus Christ, what do you care? Wasn't it Jesus that give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar? Isn't that a biblical teaching? So if you're refusing to teach your testament, to preach your heart, because you're afraid of the tax man, that's not Christian. That's not Christian. And who's the government to come into a house of worship and take your money? It is the people's money. If the people so donate that money, it has already been paid. The taxes on it have already been paid by the people. It's no different than me giving money to someone on the street. This government has no problem taking your money and giving it to people and not asking for taxes. A lot of people don't know this. People that receive welfare benefits pay zero taxes on those benefits. Zero. So where's the equal protection under the law with that one? So I say unto you that if you guys are Christians and you belong to a church, push your pastor. Tell them no more. No more. And if your pastors are afraid of the tax man, then I would probably be looking for another church. It's time that we start standing up. We start speaking the truth. And we take the fight to them every minute of every day. Don't let this government, this administration, steer you and your congregation away from the Word of God. And for you to idly stand by is an affront to the Lord Jesus Christ, the person that you say that you serve. Stand up. Be counted. Say no more. Tell this government, tell these politicians that you expect better from them. If they refuse, for whatever reason, to follow the Word of God, to promote Christianity in their voting, in their representation of us, then I say no more. Let them have their blasphemous churches. Let them go to their synagogues, their temples. And until they're willing to reform and follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, no more. That's what I say. What do you say? Give us a call at 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. Or, of course, you can always Skype us. Our Skype number is the Midnight Patriot. Talk about the attack of religion here in the United States. It's unbelievable. I was out on YouTube today. We were talking, I was talking with some fellow patriots. And the Obama Islam thing came up, and of course I had to argue. I don't think it is an Islam thing with him. I think it's the fact that he's a communist and a socialist, and he wants total control. Thus, he wants zero Christianity. History will tell you. We'll get Jake Danish-Vesky back on the air after the holidays. Grew up in communist Russia. He'll tell you what it was like. He'll tell you the intolerance towards any religion from the state. Because the way that communist works is they want you to worship the leaders, the Communist Party. Kind of like what's going on now in a fourth grade school. We talk about Common Core. There's actually a school in which fourth graders are now required to read a book by President Barack Obama. Part of their sensitivity training. Part of their Common Core training. That's right. They are forcing fourth graders to read sections of Barack Obama's book. Sounds a lot like communist Russia, the supreme leader. You know, the indoctrination. It's just unbelievable. We talk about this quite a bit. When we get back from the break, I got some more examples of some of the things that are being taught to our kids in Common Core. We'll also be talking about the Muslim infiltration in the communities. And I know a lot of people are out there saying, oh, there's no threat. There's no threat. But we actually have an imam that says, and you got to listen to this, and the vitriol and the attacks against non-Muslims. We got two videos that we're going to play for you, 2 audios. But you got to hear this imam where he states that basically if it's not written in the Quran, they don't have to follow it. But you're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. We'll be back. federal spending, a government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us here live every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, or on the web 24/7 at www.themidnightpatriot.com. Wow, we're rolling into the weekend. I hope things go. I hope you got plans. I think we're supposed to have our first major snowfall here. It snowed last week, but I think this is supposed to be pretty significant. But what a weekend. What a week. This weekend we're going to be pretty busy here in the studio. We're going to be changing some of the furniture out, giving us a little bit more room. We got so much news that we got to get to you guys, and we just can't cover it all. Can't cover it. So we're going to be making some changes there. We got some more phone lines going in for the callers. So that way we'll have the best possible quality when you guys call in. If you feel the need to call in tonight, you can give us a call at 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. Or, of course, you can Skype us at the Midnight Patriot. But as we roll into the week, some remembrance today. If you listen to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast, you'll know that we remember our soldiers every day. Every day. It's not a one-day Veterans Day here. It's every day. And with that, we will get on with it. The good news is we haven't added any new names to the list. Army Staff Sergeant Alex A. Viola, November 17, 2013. Army Staff Sergeant Richard L. Velazquez, November 13, 2013. Army Sergeant First Class Forrest W. Robertson, November 3rd, 2013. If you're a family member of a soldier, retired, active, discharged, and you need help, you can always reach out to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. My email is jeff@themidnightpatriot.com. We'll make sure that you get the services that you need. It's help filling out forms, paperwork, whatever it is. Give us a call. If you are a active duty, retired, or discharged soldier, and if there's anything you need, reach out to us. We're here for you. Anything that we can do for you, we will make sure that it happens. If you have lost a husband, a wife, a daughter, a son, our hearts and our prayers go out to you. Even though this government has turned its back on our armed services, we will never turn our back on you. We will never forget the sacrifices that you have made for us. May God bless you, keep you, and you will always be in our prayers. You know, we're going to continue to do that. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what corporate says. I don't care what anybody says to us. As long as there are men and women that put on this nation's uniform and put themselves in harm's way, we will always do that tribute. As long as there are soldiers who are coming back and having a hard time facing their demons, the scars of war, the mental anguish. You know, there are 22 vets that kill themselves every day in this country. That's 22 too many. And as long as that is going on, we will always reach out, pay tribute, let them know that we are here. And I ask that you too should do that. If you see a veteran, if you see a vet in uniform or out of uniform, with their insignias or whatever, go up to them, look them square in the eye, shake their hand, and say thank you for their service. Let them know that you care and you appreciate for their freedoms, the freedoms that we have that they fought for. You know, you can even go as far as buy them a cup of coffee. Or if you're at dinner, maybe pick up that tab for them. Let them know that we are thinking of them and that we appreciate them. So, now I was asked earlier tonight, music. All the music that we play here at the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast is provided to us by Madison Rising. You go out to MadisonRising.com. Check them out. Great bunch of guys. We had Dave on the show last week from Madison Rising, the lead singer. Just unbelievable music. And I have seen, I believe out there on Facebook, where they will allow you to download for free, I think this week only, a copy of Hero. That's that song that we played at the very beginning. Outstanding music. Highly recommend that you support them, download their music. You know, it's just good music too. But that's MadisonRising.com. As we wind into the weekend, you know, we still got some business to take care of, so we'll get to it. You know, we were talking about, the attack of Christianity. And one of the tools that this administration is doing is, as he's attacking Christianity, or as this administration, because it is the administration, not only the president, because the administration is allowing it to happen. There are other parties at play here, and they're allowing it. So they're just as guilty, right? So first, what I want to do, I grew up in a town where they put a mosque, very controversial, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And everybody's like, oh, you had the libtards out there that were like, oh, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. It is a big deal. Because let me tell you, the Quran specifically says, unlike our Bible, you either convert to Islam, you either pay a tax to Islam, or you are executed and beheaded. That's what the Quran says. And it says it on multiple occasions. Right? Now granted, you don't have beheadings yet because we still have laws. But there are also imams now stating that they don't have to follow the laws of the infidel. They don't. So the laws that you and I follow, they do not have to. And it's only a matter of time. And I know people are, that is in their Quran. That is in their teachings. So I don't know how you can have one and not follow the other. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, Christianity, there's a lot of things in Christianity, but I strive to live up to them now that I'm turn my life around. But it's in the Quran. And, this is coming to a neighborhood near you. Now, obviously, this is, happening in England right now.
I'm Stacey Dooley, and this is Luton, where I was born.
But it's coming to our streets.
I went to school here. I even worked at the airport, and then I moved away. But now I'm coming home to find out if it's true that Muslim extremists are taking over my town. It didn't take long to witness firsthand the extremism I've been hearing about.
They're carrying signs that say UK go to hell, police go to hell.
For, but tensions were running high.
Your sister, brother! Your mother! Where is the case? How dare they touch a woman?
It turns out the demo was in response to the arrest of local woman Mona Thorney, whose husband set off a bomb in Stockholm in 2010. I cannot believe this. I've never seen anything on this scale before. And it breaks my heart to think that it's happening in my town. Hands off Muslims! Hands off Muslims! Hands off Muslims! Everyone's got a right to protest, but I found their chanting provocative and extreme.
British police go to hell!
This is the message to stop oppression.
Police burn in hell. British police burn in hell.
Yeah, because
no real Muslim wants anyone to burn in hell.
Yeah, but for what they've done, for the consequences.
You can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose. You can't.
You either believe or you disbelieve.
You know
you
what?
choose to wear this, I choose to wear that.
You and I will have to.
You look naked on the street.
Do I look naked? Do I really?
No.
I don't look naked.
You're trying to seduce.
No one's trying to seduce me, and I'm not trying to seduce anyone. You shouldn't judge me how I try not to judge you. You are. You've just said who am I trying to seduce? No one.
I said I am judging.
Well, I don't judge you because I'm above that. Excuse me, go and put on some clothes. How you choose to live slow, how you choose to dress like that, I choose to dress like this. Don't start.
It's okay.
Don't you dare speak to me like that. No, this is my hometown as well.
All right. Stadium.
No, I'm walking.
Okay.
I am walking. No, I can do what I want.
Okay.
That girl's just. I don't mind. Point away. Point away. Because you're not scaring me. I try my hardest to sympathise with people who are maybe different to me. And it's a tiny minority that play up. Who are you trying to seduce? Go and put some clothes on. You look naked. Oh.
They've been arrested. They've been harassed by the police.
Such a shame.
No evidence whatsoever.
Do you think it's fair that you should say British police need to burn in hell?
That's the freedom of speech. They can say, wish to say, they can say it.
In Islam, doesn't it say that you have to respect the law of the land that you're living in?
No.
I thought it did. What's the solution? If Muslim people are in the wrong and they are committing crimes, no one's above the law.
If the law of the land is Islamic, we respect the law of the land.
What if it's not
If
Islamic?
it's not Islamic, then the law of the land and those who make it can go to hell, quite honestly, because Allah said in the Quran, in chapter 33, verse 1, He said, "O Prophet, fear Allah and do not obey the disbelievers and the hypocrites." Is David Cameron a Muslim or a disbeliever? Guys,
I can't speak on Cameron,
so you can't obey him. So he can go to hell, as well as all of the other leaders.
Do you think I should go to hell because I'm a non-Muslim?
You're on your way to the hellfire because you're a non-Muslim. All non-Muslims are destined for the hellfire.
Do you really believe
And
that?
yes, and you will be fueled for the hellfire as well. But the fact is that you have an opportunity to change.
That hurts me to think that you think that of me because you don't really know me and you think I'm destined to hell because I'm non-Muslim.
You said you're not a Muslim, so that's enough for me to know that you're not Muslim. If you're not Muslim, you're destined for the hellfire unless you change.
I find it sad that anyone would preach such a damning message. To sum up in words, even to tell you how I'm feeling right now, I feel completely gutted. I'm gutted that this is happening.
Now I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, that's in England. That doesn't happen here. Well, here you go. Dearborn, Michigan, in the United States. Dearborn welcomes President Obama for a rally. Now, because we're short on time, I'm going to get right.
Ruben, there's been several cops that have already gone by. I think their philosophy this year is just let us be fed to the wall. I think they're going to turn a blind eye to us completely, for good and for bad. So,
the city of Dearborn has an ordinance, okay, that you guys can't use the megaphone. Okay, so if you guys continue to use that, you're going to get a citation for ordinance.
You realize we used it last year. If they allowed it last year, I mean, unless the law just came in effect this year, why didn't they give us a citation last year?
I don't know. I wasn't a part of it last year, okay? But I just have orders that if anybody uses a megaphone, just advise them that they're not allowed to use it. Okay, give them a warning, and if they continue to, give a citation.
So if we don't use a megaphone, can we throw water bottles at the crowd? So what are you going to do if they throw water bottles at us?
If that happens, then we'll take care of it.
We got it on video.
Okay, well, then you know that if you got it on video, then you can take it to the proper channels.
I think you don't really want to pursue the law unless it's going to happen worse.
No, that's not true.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Get out of here. You don't want to get out. You want to jump out or you want to leave? Beat the shit out of him.
Do you understand English?
As they start to throw beer cans, water bottles. This is in Dearborn, Michigan, where the group of American citizens are there, and they're being attacked and having things thrown at them by the Muslims. You can hear the bottles hitting the ground.
Keep your head down. Head down.
The religion of peace.
Ah, damn it.
Man, they nail me with a piece of concrete. So I'm right in the back of the head, man.
Dearborn, Michigan. Of course, there's no police there. Of course, the minute that the American Christians act up, they're threatened with persecution and arrest.
goodness, yeah. This is insanity.
Enough. It's just incredible. That's coming to a neighborhood near you, folks. That's coming to a neighborhood near you. So, like I said, you can choose to sit by passively and allow it to happen. Or you can start to demand more from our politicians, from our law enforcement, from our police force. It's amazing. The systematic erosion of the American culture. And these groups, these religious organizations, Muslims, they don't want to assimilate in America. They want to convert us. You heard it flat out. The Quran clearly says you either convert or you pay a tax as a non-Muslim or you're beheaded. I don't even have to show you the sickening videos of the beheadings. We're already hearing them, not beheadings, but honor killings here in the United States. It's only a matter of time. The only reason why you don't see more of it in this country is because of the fact that they don't have majority yet. But as they take over towns like Dearborn, Michigan, and they start to get majority, if you're a Christian, God help you. You'll have exactly what happened to those gentlemen happen to you. As we wind down into the week, as we plan our vacation, our weekend, to me it's a vacation. It's 2 days. Get to kind of relax, spend time with my family. I look forward to it. All I've got to say is that things are going to get rough. Things are definitely not going to get any easier for us as patriots. We need to start strengthening our families. Then from there, strengthening our communities. You need to develop a strong network of fellow patriots. You need to get involved in local meetings. You need to start training. That means firearms, tactics. You need to start prepping, getting prepared, making sure that you have enough supplies, provisions for you and your family. Those are the things that you need to start doing. You need to have situational awareness. You need to know what's going on around you. Listening to this show, we'll give you as much information as we can. Kind of let you know when it's coming. It's close. That's why we're in a ready state right now. Which means that we're going to start focusing more on tactics and solutions for you and the preservation of our society. But like I've always said, and like I always do on Fridays, I tell you, spend time with your family, with your loved ones, build that unit up. If there's but a family member you haven't talked to in a while, reach out to them, talk to them. Let them know that you're there for them if they need anything. Spend time with your family members. One of the things that we're going to start doing here is, if you listen to the show, I'm going to start canning. It's kind of exciting. Never used to do it with my grandmother and my mother. I think they did most of the work. I just kind of ate the fruits of their labor, jams, pickles. So we're going to start doing that as a family. And I know what you're saying is like, but hey, spend a few hours with your family doing some canning or, preparing. Probably going to go out and shoot if it's not snowing this weekend with my daughter, my youngest daughter. She's got her own little 22 handgun, so we'll go out and do some shooting if the weather's nice enough where we can. But start spending time with your family member, your loved ones. If you have a church that you belong to, get your butt in church, right? If you're looking for a church, reach out to fellow patriots. Ask them where they go. I suggest a good Bible teaching church, one that reads out of the New Testament. Start reaching out to fellow patriots. We have a battle here. We have a battle for our sovereignty of our nation and the preservation of our values, but we also have a battle against our Christian beliefs. And the only armor for that is immerse yourself in the teachings of Jesus Christ. And it's not hard to do. It's like I tell people, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? There are online courses, not courses, but online programs that you can do that will help you read a Bible in a year. Basically, they give you a reading of the day and they kind of break it down for you. Another really good way is read American Exit Strategy by Mark, Prepper Recon. It's a great book. He has a sale going on. It's 99 cents for Black Friday, I think. So you can download it to your Kindle device or like device. And then that way you can read it. He is not only takes a great fictional story, ties it to modern times, but he also has very patriotic sayings in there, and plus he has biblical sayings, which are pertinent to our times. That's also an excellent way of getting yourself back to the Bible. That's a American Exit Strategy. You can get it off our website, or you can go to prepperrecon.com. But as we wrap up tonight, I just want to let you know that you're in my prayers. We'll be thinking of you. All of our listeners, all of our non-listeners, all of our friends. May God bless you. May God keep you. And with that, we will end this week, this evening, and this week with some great words from a great orator, Paul Harvey. If I Were the Devil, by Paul Harvey. If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have 1/3 of its real estate and 4/5 of its population. But I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple of the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of the serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what is bad is good, and what is good is square. And to the old, I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, witch art in Washington. And then I would get organized. I would educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting, so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I would threaten TV with dirtier movies, and vice versa. I would peddle narcotics to whom I could. I would sell alcohol to the ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I would tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed, and with the promise of higher ratings, I'd have memorizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects by neglecting to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild until before you knew it, you would have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I would have judges promoting pornography. Soon, I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and defy science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who want it until I killed all incentive of the ambitious. And what do you bet? I couldn't get those whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, and patriotism, and moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be, and thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.